Welcome back, students. It's your teacher, Cesar Lapay, with another lesson for today. So, before we formally start, let's first have a short prayer. Gracious and loving Creator, as I prepare to embark on this journey of learning, I humbly come before you, seeking your guidance and blessings. Fill my heart with the spirit of enthusiasm, curiosity, and the hunger for knowledge. Open my mind to grasp new concepts, engage in critical thinking, and embrace the joy of discovery. Grant me the ability to teach, absorb information with clarity, retain it with ease, and apply it with wisdom. Strengthen my memory, sharpen my focus, and deepen my understanding. Help me to overcome any challenges or obstacles that may come in my way, instilling in me resilience and perseverance. Bless all my students, dear Lord, with wisdom and patience. May they inspire all the teachers to grant me the humility to seek their guidance, the courage to ask questions, and the humility to learn from my mistakes. As I step to this classroom, may I be beacon of kindness, respect, and encouragement to my fellow teachers and also to their fellow students. Help us support and uplift one each other, fostering an environment of collaboration and camaraderie. In your infinite grace, bless this classroom with an atmosphere of positivity, understanding, and growth. May all the lessons that I teach not only enhance my personal development but also their personal development to contribute positively to the world around me. I surrender my fears and doubts to you, dear Lord, trusting that you will be with me every step of the way. Thank you for the opportunity to teach this class and grow. May this class be a stepping stone towards a brighter future. In your holy name I pray. Amen. Okay, if you are watching this in morning, good morning. If you are watching this in afternoon, good afternoon. And if you are watching this in evening, good evening. So before we formally start our lesson, let us first have an activity. The activity will be called Guess the Word by Its Sound. So how many questions did you answer it right? How many pictures did you guess it right? If you answered all the pictures that I presented, very good for you. So now, let's proceed to our lesson. Let's go.
Hello grade 8 students, welcome back to our class. Fourth quarter in music, we will be discussing traditional musical theater of Asia. Our most essential learning competencies are the following. Identifies musical characteristics of selected Asian musical theater through video films or live performances. Describes the instruments that accompany kabuki, wayang kulit, and Peking opera. Describes how a specific idea or story is communicated through music in a particular Asian musical theater. As learner, you are expected to do the following. Identify the varied art forms used in Asian musical theater to communicate tales of everyday social and cultural relevance and interests. Analyze how elements of sound, gesture, movement, and costume affect the creation. Evaluate the performance of each group with regards to cultural relevance. music performance, and movement. Have you experienced watching a stage play or a theater play? How was it? Did you enjoy watching? In this lesson, you are about to discover the traditional Asian theater art. The traditional musical theater of Asia that we already encountered during the first and second quarter in arts. Today, we will have a unique experience on how this traditional theater music is performed. Theater arts is one of the ancient traditions of the people in Asia, particularly in Japan and China. This theater art form was transmitted from generation to generation. It mirrors or reflects life. Its key principle of theater is selectivity. Through the various forms of theater art, a specific form can achieve clarity, order, and beauty rarely found in ordinary life. Japan is rich in culture and tradition. Ikebana and cherry blossoms, to name a few, represent the beauty of its cultural heritage. Kabuki and Noh are the two popular music theater of Japan. Kabuki. It is one of the traditions that is very popular until today. This is the traditional form of theater which began at the end of the 16th century. It became the most successful theater entertainment in the red light districts of the great cities. It is considered the most important Japanese contribution to world theater. Both Kabuki and Noh are unique and genuine expressions of the Japanese spirit and culture. They mirror, however, taste and ideals of different social classes, in profoundly different environments and epochs. Vocal pattern and technique. Did you know that Sakura is one of the popular traditional songs of Japan? It is translated as cherry blossoms in English. It is a traditional song that produces distinct characteristics used in the Asian styles of making melodies, also known as pentatonic scale. The pattern is mainly developed by using the pentatonic style adopted mainly from China. This style is mostly used in the performance of Noh and Kabuki. One of the key features of Japanese theater is the vocal technique used in singing. Apankoshi. The continuous pattern used in speeches building up to an explosive climax in the arigato style. Requires an extraordinary breath control that only few experts succeed in achieving. Nori. It adapted from the chanting or jorori, a traditional Japanese narrative music in which a taifu sings to the accompaniment of a shamisen. It implies a very sensitive capacity of riding the rhythms of the shamisen, declaiming each accompaniment. Yakuharai technique in the same way describes the subtle delivery of poetical text written in the Japanese metrical form of alternating 7 and 5 syllables. Vocal and instrumental features. Dances and movements are accompanied by shamisen music, collected and popularized a number of aspects from all previous forms of Japanese music. Japanese shamisen music, Japanese musical forms that uses shamisen. Gagaku, a classic court music imported from China during the 18th century. Kagura, known as theater from heaven, literally translated to God entertainment, and is performed in Shinto shrines. Noh, chant derives from shomyo, the sophisticated and rich tradition of Buddhist chanting. And the most popular shamisen music was Nagata, or long song, which reached a golden age in the first half of the 19th century as dance music for the hengi mano or quick change pieces. Nagata is very flexible, can be performed by one shamisen or by an entire orchestra of 20 musicians. 10 are shamisen players, while other play flutes. Few taken from the Noh. Drums like the small drum, katsuzumi, waist drum, atsuzumi, and stick drum, taiko. The following are some musical instruments used in Kabuki performance. Lesson 2. Chinese theater. Chinese theater traditionally was considered as the highest form of arts in China. Peking opera is a stylized Chinese form opera dating from the late 18th century, in which speech, singing, mime, and acrobatics are performed to an instrumental accompaniment. It arose in the late 18th century and became fully developed and recognized by the mid-19th century. It is regarded as one of the cultural treasures of China and was extremely popular in the Qing dynasty court. Basically, the Peking opera has two main styles of music, namely erhuang and his peal. The difference of the two is the key. The his peal has lower sound than the erhuang. They also utilize the technique called fan pan, which is commonly used for sorrowful songs, and is only sung by bearded characters. The orchestra of the Peking opera is different from the Western orchestra. It comprises about 8 musicians sitting on stools in the far corner of the stage. Each performance of the Peking opera begins with the talo and sayaglo, a small and large gong and cymbals. In some performances they also start with a single skin drum or kettle drum. The conductor usually sits in the center of the orchestra and creates tempo with this drum. Traditionally, the musicians are in view throughout the performance and are dressed in the same style as the stage assistants. They come and go freely and are never considered part of the stage picture. In contemporary China, the musicians are often seated in an orchestra pit and kept off stage. Music is an integral part of every performance. It provides an atmospheric background, accompanies the many sung passages, controls the timing of movements, and welds the performance into a rhythmical whole. Theater musicians learn their parts by rote since Chinese musical notation is very imprecise. Most music used in Peking opera has been worked out collaboratively between actors and musicians. Most are borrowed from already existing resources and recombined according to the requirements of a particular play. The actor's delivery of lines is rigidly controlled by convention. Each role has a prescribed vocal timbre and pitch, and syllables are often drawn out with regards to conventional usage in order to maintain the appropriate rhythm. Each spoken passages are governed by strict rhythms and tempos. Chanted and sung passages are freely inserted into spoken monologues. Lines are rendered in an extremely stylized manner. The following are some musical instruments used in Peking opera performance. Aerophones are the TTs. Cross flutes usually played along with singing. Shao. Recorded flutes also usually played along with singing. And sona. Trumpet announces prosperous occasions. For bowed instruments we have hu-kin and bu-kin. Both are 2-stringed instruments. Plucked instruments are the yu-kin, 4-stringed instrument, san-sian, 3-stringed instrument, and pipa, which is similar to lute with 4 strings. For idiophones, we have talo and shaolo. Small gongs signify the beginning of the performance. Now bow or bow, a pair of cymbals, and the tan pi ku, a kettle drum used to create the tempo of the performance. Lesson 3. Indonesian Theater. Shadow puppet theater is a well-known Indonesian theater popular not only in their own country but spread in different countries around the world. Wayang Kulit, in Central Java, is one of the oldest continuous traditions of storytelling in the world, which includes the use of puppet materials and background musical accompaniment to make it interesting to the audience. Wayang is an Indonesian and Malay word for theater. When the term is used to refer to kinds of puppet theater, sometimes the puppet itself is referred to as wayang. Kulit means skin and refers to the leather construction of the puppets that are carefully cut into a very fine tools and supported with carefully shaped buffalo horn handles and control rods. The audience is the most important person in the wayang kulit performance. The dalung prepares all the materials used like the cloth and the light for shadow. The puppet on the right side signifies the good character, on the left-hand side, the bad. The open space between them about 2 meters wide represents the stage. The dalung is the puppeteer. He is characterized by his being creative, humorous, and flexible. He manipulates the puppet, sings, and taps out signals to the orchestra. He also speaks the parts of all the characters. The use of the voice interchangeably is his main ability to give more life to a different character. Gamelan. A gamelan ensemble is comprised mainly by bronze percussion instruments augmented by other percussion instruments, strings, and a flute. A full Javanese gamelan ensemble consists of the following. Saran, a xylophone of heavy bronze bar. Gender, bronze xylophone with resonance chambers beneath. Bonang, set of bronze bowls. Gong and kempel, hanging gongs. Kanong and ketuk, single inverted bronze bowl. Gumbung, wooden xylophone. Rebab, 2-stringed fiddle. Suling, a flute. Kendang, horizontal drum beat with the fingers on both ends. And jelumpang, a zither of 13 double strings. The preponderance of bronze instruments gives gamelan music a bright lingering sound, ranging from the slow majestic melodies of the Javanese gamelan to the clangorous vibrancy of the Balinese gamelan. Fiddle and flute add a delicate counterpoint to a 4-square pattern of percussive melody. In addition to setting the mood or atmosphere of a play, music has 2 major dramatic functions in the theater. it accompanies the singing or chanting, and it accompanies stage actions including dance. The importance of each function varies from area to area and from theater form to theater form. The Da Lung sings the mood songs, or suluk, at regular intervals during performance. In a 9-hour Wayang Kulit, he may sing 50 or 60. Nevertheless, they are considered relatively unimportant except as mood pieces. The major dramatic function of gamelan music is to accompany stage action. Entrances, exits, and fight scenes are executed in time to gamelan music. There you have it. What is your favorite among the traditional Asian musical theater mentioned? In the comment section, write your answer and the reasons why it is your favorite. Comment on the elements of sound produced, movements, or gestures, and costumes. I will give you 20 seconds to answer. Very well, class. You did great. Now grab a paper and pen and answer our next activity. Write the word true if the statement is correct, and false if it is not. Wonderful. You did great. If you are going to create a musical theater, what musical instruments are you going to use and how are you going to communicate your story to the audience? That's all for today, class. Thank you for watching. See you again on our next episode. Goodbye.